The rain poured hard against the glass windows of the Willow Diner, a quiet old-fashioned place at the corner of a busy New York street. Inside, the smell of fresh coffee mixed with the hum of tired conversations. It was just another late night for Emma Collins, a waitress working her third shift that week. Her hands ached, her shoes were worn, and yet, her smile, though tired, never left her face. At table 7 sat Alexander Drake, the young billionaire everyone in the city knew. The finance mogul, tech visionary, and tabloid favorite. He had built an empire by 28, owned private jets and islands, and was known for one thing above all: his arrogance. He wasn't supposed to be here in a diner that smelled of burnt toast and hope, but curiosity had brought him. His latest investment had failed spectacularly, losing him millions overnight. He wanted to see how the other side lived, at least that's what he told himself. When Emma approached his table with her notepad, he gave her a lazy smirk. "Coffee," he said, looking up from his phone. "Black. Like my mood." She nodded, jotting it down, not realizing who he was. As she turned to leave, he called out, "Hey, mind if I ask you something?" She turned, polite but wary. "Sure, what's up?" He leaned back in his chair, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You look like someone who's seen real life. Give me some financial advice." The nearby customers laughed softly. They knew who he was now. Everyone did. The richest man in the room, asking a waitress for financial advice. What a joke. But Emma didn't laugh. She stared at him for a moment, her pen hovering in the air. And then she said quietly, "Stop chasing numbers and start counting what doesn't fade." The laughter died. Alexander blinked. "What?" Emma sighed, setting the coffee pot on his table. "Money's a tool, not a trophy. If you don't use it to build something that matters, it'll destroy you. That's the only financial advice I've got." Her words hung in the air, heavier than they should have been. Alexander felt a sting in his chest, something he hadn't felt in years. He wanted to brush it off, but he couldn't. "Who are you?" he asked, genuinely curious now. "Just a waitress," she said, and walked away. But she wasn't just a waitress. Emma had once been a top business student at Columbia, full of ambition and dreams, until her father's illness and hospital bills forced her to drop out. Every penny she made now went toward taking care of him in a small apartment 2 blocks from the diner. She had learned the hard way that wealth without love meant nothing, and poverty with love still had meaning. Alexander found himself watching her throughout the night. The way she smiled at an old man counting change, the way she wrapped up a sandwich for a homeless veteran outside. There was something deeply human about her, a warmth he'd lost long ago, behind boardrooms and luxury cars.
When the diner emptied,
he stayed behind. "Emma," he said as she wiped down his table, "tell me something. If you had everything, money, comfort, security, what would you do with it?" She hesitated. "I'd start a financial literacy program for single mothers. You'd be surprised how many women end up broke because no one ever taught them how to handle money. I'd teach them what I wish someone taught me before life did." He stared at her, silent. It wasn't the answer he expected. He thought she'd say something about a house or a car, but instead her dream was to help others. That night, Alexander left the diner with a strange feeling in his chest. Her words echoed in his mind all the way back to his penthouse overlooking the city. Stop chasing numbers and start counting what doesn't fade. Days passed, but he couldn't shake it off. For the first time, his investments didn't excite him. His meetings felt meaningless. The money didn't make him feel powerful anymore. It made him feel empty. One afternoon, he found himself standing outside the Willow Diner again. This time, not in a tailored suit, but in jeans and a simple shirt. He waited until Emma's shift ended and followed her outside. "Emma," he called softly. She turned, surprised. "Mr. Drake?" He smiled faintly. "Call me Alex. I've been thinking about what you said, about teaching financial literacy. I want to fund it, build it, with you." Her eyes widened. "Me? But you're exactly what the world needs," he interrupted gently. "Someone who knows what it's like to lose everything and still stand tall." For the first time in years, Emma felt hope bloom inside her chest. Together, they launched the Rise Foundation, a nonprofit, aimed at empowering struggling women through education and financial management. Emma ran the workshops herself, and Alex quietly stayed in the background. watching lives change because of one simple idea born in a small diner. Months later, a journalist asked Alex during a live interview, "You've donated millions to charity this year, Mr. Drake. What inspired you to change your approach to wealth?" He smiled, eyes distant but soft. "A waitress once told me to stop counting numbers and start counting what doesn't fade." Turns out she was right. The clip went viral. People loved the story of the billionaire who learned from the waitress. But to Alex, it wasn't about public image anymore. It was about redemption. As for Emma, she finally went back to school, graduating with honors. The foundation grew, touching lives across the country. And every time she saw Alex, she'd tease him, still counting numbers. He'd grin and reply, "It's only the ones that really matter." Message: true wealth isn't measured by what you have. It's measured by what you give, who you lift, and the hearts you touch along the way.